Good day, everybody. And it's great to be celebrating with our clients again, and with all our honored partners with the Trinidad and Tobago Prison Service. I want to say good morning to my commissioner, Mr. Wilson, and our senior superintendent of prisons and programs, Mr. Fabian Alexander. And we have, I want to say special good morning to Mr. Clayton Morris, Mr. Raymond Timke, Mr. Peter Alliang, Reverend Brian Skinner, and to all our other invited guests, some I know and some I don't. Welcome to Maximum Security Prison. And I'm not going to stay here long because we're already pressed for time. However, I want to express my appreciation to Mr. Timke and Mr. Alliang and for the amount of Mr. Morris, Mr. Clayton Morris, been with the prison service for so long. I think we could put him in khaki by now. The length of time he here, he could be in green too. You know, but Mr. Clayton Morris has been from Carnival, and it's everything he involved in. And when we look at the match that was being played today, and one of the things I was doing was looking at the players themselves. And I was talking to my commissioner and explaining, you know, changes that we would have seen in some of the persons over the years. And I want to challenge you guys that use these opportunities to build your person. Use these opportunities to be a change that we would like to see in you. And in other words, that we would want you all to be exemplars to those around you. So you know, I know who all of you are. And so I would be expecting to only deal with you in a certain way. You all understand that? Right? To encourage you. Yes, Mr. Barry Alfonso. I see the smile. But you all understand what I mean. I expect you all to show the others the way forward, good discipline, you know, so that we could spread the program among other inmates or clients, and I rather use the word clients than inmates because we're treating with you. So I want to say welcome to everyone who came here, those visitors, those who have been assisting. Welcome to our clients, you, the team, and without any more to say, then I hope you enjoyed this graduation session today. I will hand over to Mr. Sudi.
Thank you, Ms. DeGraff, Superintendent of the Maximum Security Prison. And we would also want to hear from our now Commissioner, Mr. Gerard Wilson. He has been a very supportive person when it comes to the Futsal program, and we really want to appreciate his every effort into making everything possible, not just this morning, but even some of the challenges we have on a Monday and a Thursday with the program. He's very supportive, all right? We do not hesitate to call him to get the okay, and these are things that we appreciate. So let's put our hands together as our commissioner comes and addresses us.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Mr. Sudin. Members of the head table, Mr. Clayton Morris, Mr. Raymond Timke, Mr. Peter Alliang. I also recognize Reverend Brian Skinner, other specially invited guests. And let me say to Ms. Clement, I'm not seeing her, but if she's around, thanks a lot, ma'am, for your support. Good morning to my clients. Good morning to the families. It's good to be here, for you to be here, and for me to be here. Today is a bittersweet day for me. Bittersweet day for me. It's sweet because we have dedicated staff, program staff, and I'd like you all to give them a round of applause, please, that program staff. Sorry, Senior Super Mr. Alexander, sorry about that. And I now realize that you're standing there. So, to Mr. Alexander, too, afternoon. You have a superintendent at MSP who might not be 100% fit to do all the things that she needs to do. But I admire this lady because she is committed and dedicated. Committed and dedicated. It's sweet because many of you involved in the Futsal program, I would have met at the remand prison because I would have worked as a supervisor, an ASP, and a superintendent. So my heart is really in the remand Golden Grove, and some of you would have come from Golden Grove to MSP. And to see you here this morning executing all those skills makes me so proud, and this is what is sweet for me. I have told persons, a lot of people, and people may not understand what I'm saying because there's always a thin line between befriending an inmate and having a relationship with an inmate. Always a thin line. And when you develop a relationship with an inmate, it is always looked at with a level of suspect. There's something more going on. But I have said to a lot of people, and I'm proud to say so, I have met some inmates in the remand while I was there for my period of time that I served there, who are exceptional people. Real good people, but just had a bad start. That's all. What is wrong with me asking an inmate, how your children going? When they'll be willing to tell you, boss, my son is doing so good, you know, having a little problem. Why you can't have that kind of relationship with an inmate? I remember a morning I saw an inmate, and although he was always very serious, that morning something was different about him. And I stopped and I asked him, I say, what happened to you today? He said, nah, boss, I'm normal, which means that you're not good, right? Normal means you're not good. And then he said to me, he said, Mr. Wilson, he said, just before I came into prison, my wife or girlfriend was pregnant, and that baby is now born. And some other man is now holding my child. What do you tell an inmate who tells you that? You don't feel compassion? And then, if officers don't understand what normal inmates who are human beings go through, they will not know how to treat with that. That's a serious thing for anybody. He's a human being. Why can't we find out what is happening behind or in the mind of an inmate, rather than see that person as somebody just to feed and send to bed and go back in your cell? And that is why I have developed this kind of relationship with a lot of inmates who could talk to me anytime. And I'll be frank to say, a lot of officers didn't like that, but I don't care. I don't care. I have a duty of care to inmates and officers. And when I come to see you here with the futsal and pass through the prison to see you, it's not because I want pips or I want you to like me. It's because I have a duty of care to make sure you're okay. And that is why today I could walk into any prison and get the cooperation from any inmate. Any inmate. Because this struggle is not about me. It's about being a professional and making sure that I listen to you. And I've said to a lot of officers, don't ever ask an inmate, or he tells you something and say, I will get back to you, and then forget him. Eventually, he will forget you. I've seen it. So when I make wrongs, I stand up by every cell and I listen. And that is how I understand what you are feeling and what you are going through. I grew up in Sawa. I always tell people that. I didn't grow up in any prestige place. I grew up in Sawa on the block just like you. My life took a different turn. So I understand the struggle sometimes, and I'm fortunate that my life would have taken a different turn. I grew up with a single parent, my mother, but she was like mother and father, and we have lost the basics. So it's sweet for me today to see this. It's sweet for me today to know that I have committed officers who are willing to go the extra mile to see you change. You know why I'm bitter? I'm bitter because every day I keep asking the question, what is happening to my sweetie auntie? That is why I'm bitter. I'm bitter because you see senseless killing. Up to this morning on WhatsApp, a young lady in Caranage on the road with a bullet in her head or wherever, just on the road, half naked. And every day you have to look at that. So when Clayton spoke to me, he said, Mr. Wilson, when I see these footballers, these guys playing, and one person offends, everybody come down on that one individual. So that said to me that this particular project, Futsal project, is working. And when I saw you all today, it hammered in me the fact that if this could spread throughout all the prisons, we'll be on the way to success. Mr. Clayton Morris, there's no way we could repay you for what you have done. No way. And this is not only futsal. Clayton Morris is in everything that the prison has, everything. Calypso, everything. And it just goes to show that we have good people out there. We just have to know how to tweak it. We just have to know how to do it to get the results we want. So that's the bitterness I feel. So I would like to implore you guys out here who have a level of influence, and you know yourself, to try to pass this on to others who might be going in a different direction. That is all I'm asking for the prison. If I sense there's like when I leave here this afternoon, I have to go to ECRC because there was something that happened, and I know if I don't deal with it, it could escalate, so I'll have to find myself there this evening. But if any of you also know about it and can do something about it, don't sit and wait until another officer drops to say, I knew. And every time an officer drops, my heart sings too. Because if we have a good relationship, both of us, and you sit back and not say, you don't have to broadcast it, but if you don't give some indication that, look, this is happening, or try to, according to you, pat it down, then it's another life. And this officer who dies That officer would have a mother, father, sister, brother, niece, nephew, just like you. And when your family drops, you feel the same way. And I said to somebody about 2 days ago, and they said that I shouldn't say it, but I'll repeat it. When I worked in the remand, I said to inmates who I know had a level of influence, I am prepared to do my work as a professional. I am also prepared to die for what I know is right. So if I abuse you and something happens to me, I will die with a frown because I know I would have hurt you. But if in doing my job, I find a phone or I find something, and you feel that you need to be so disrespectful to kill me for doing my job, so be it. I will do what I know is right. And all it says to me is that you have not grown up as yet. You hide it, we find it. When we find it, you chill. When we don't find it, you laugh. But that's the point. You don't kill for a phone, for some nonsense. You don't do that. So I'm asking, while this program is successful in one way, I'm just asking you to spread the word that we need to change ourselves first. All right? I know that I was longer than I should have been, but I needed to say this. And I said it with a bit of emotion, because that's how I feel about the prison. I also do something with some students that I'll do tomorrow, and I've asked Barry Alphonse to come along, and he has obliged. I thank you for that. Thank you. And all I'm doing tomorrow with some custard students that I lecture to is for somebody like Barry Alphonse to sit before them so they will understand he's another human being and not the name they hear outside. They come and talk to him so he could tell you about his life, and he could talk to you about crime, and he could talk to you about solutions. I'm about solutions. I'm not about talk. We need to solve it, and these are the ways to solve it, Barry. But you come in and let them ask you anything, and you tell them what crime is. All right? That's the idea. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've said enough. I thank you for listening, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wilson, for that very motivating delivery. And if I admonish us all, if it's one thing that should stay with us deriving from his speech, is that we should all be about solutions. Yes? Thank you. Okay, a very anticipated moment. But before we go into that, we just want to recognize the presence of our ASP, Mr. Hosseini. Thank you, sir. All right, at this time, I would call one of the officers involved in the Futsal program, Mr. Romain, to assist us with the distribution of... We have some certificates to distribute, and as I call your name, I would just like you to come forward, form a line right in the space here so that we can move on. Mr. Timke, we just ask you to take center stage, and when our client comes to receive his certificate, just look at the camera and give us your best smile. Thank you very much. So here we go. Anthony Asing. Shahid Ali. Barry Alfonso. Walter Borneo. Cohen Butler. He's not here, so we ask Michael Chuku to come forward. Furman Karabai. Brandon De Silva. Freddie Garcia. Kendall Giddings. Joel McHutchinson. Thank you. All right, I've just been instructed by Mr. Aliong to let you know that his outfit, right? He looks very dapper, for choice of a better phrase. He looks very dapper. And not only that, it's a designer jersey. You would not find it anywhere else on planet Earth. It was created right here at the art shop at the maximum security prison. Balandemu Julius. Owen Lewis. Hughes. Warren McDonough. Kevin Patrick. Ricardo Pitt. Dwayne Swan.
I won't stay too long, Chief. Mr. Commissioner, I heard something here today, and you made my heart feel so full. It's that funny. Now, they know me, you know. They know me so good. The extension of their love to us when we came in here. They didn't have that outside there now. Now, visitors, I would like you to understand, you have a son inside here in a university. This is not a jail, and if we have a commissioner, like what we just heard of, let me tell you something. We're going places. Let me tell you something. These guys are in here, they're saying for crime. And these guys here, Mr. Commissioner, could you get to your authorities and tell these people out there, these politicians, wake up. These fellas are in here for crime, and they could solve the crime. Let me tell you, I won't be long again, but you did something here today. You see that fella, Barry Alphonse? That fella, or what you're going to do there, has changed so much. Society want to get him away from outside there. They have done him a good. Because let me tell you something, they love not only him, but all of them have. It ain't funny, Chief. And if you go ahead with what you are doing, you and these boys here and the remand yard are the answer to crime. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alian. Sean Thomas. Valera. Pedro Bain. Magdalene Dyer. Anderson Gloud. Gold. Gloud, gold. Son. Anthony Sylvester. And Christopher Scott. And lastly, Timothy Wise. Owen Lewis, come forward for your medal. Football for well over 15 years. That's a milestone of accomplishment. And I am sure that our young footballers are aspiring to do just the same. Mr. Morris, you are needed at the awards table, please. Mr. Morris, we need some assistance at the awards table, please. The bronze medal. And we want to get ready as we call our A team. All right, so we just invite the rest of you to come forward and receive. He would receive the medals as well as the challenge trophy. And when you all become the champions, if you all become the champions, it will be permanently yours. For now, it's still being challenged.
To the Commissioner of Prisons, Mr. Wilson, to all of his supporting staff that I don't know everybody by their name. I also recognize all the important people who are there, no Mr. Timke and others, and to the prison officers and all of those who participated today, prisoners and others. It is an honor and it's a privilege for me to say a few things to you this evening about football, and in particular, the word that you have chosen that was shared with me, the word free. A lot of us don't understand maybe the word coach. The word coaching did not start with sports. The word coaching, when first used within the English vernacular, was really used when they took horses and broke them in. First, they brought them into a corral, broke them in, trained them, and then attached them to a coach to take people from one point to another point, and that's why they call it coaching. You must first understand the epistemological understanding of a word so you can understand its true meaning. In my business, we call it the law of first mention to get your attention. The word coaching means that you can take people who might have conflicting issues in life and bring them into an arena. And as a good coach who knows how to break a horse in, they can then teach them to use all of that conflicting energy within a structured environment to build up two things in them. C1, which is your character, and C2, your competencies or skills, to give you C3, which is your competency. So if you're not getting competency, you have to ask yourself the question, is it a C1 problem or is it a C2 problem? In other words, I can be a 5-star skill athlete, but be a 1-star when it comes to attitude and character. You ain't gonna make it with that. Can I have a witness here? Or you can be a 5-star in character, But if you don't have the competency, then the team will not have consistency, and they will not be able to play in excellence, and their chance of winning is minimized. You need both. But from our experience, we recognize the challenge we have for our players and our athletes is not so much a challenge of C2, which is skills and competency, but a challenge of character, because character determines your success. Your character, your integrity in your personality, whether it's masculinity or femininity, makes life a reality in society. I just want to share quickly that word free, that you have chosen to be the catalyst of your change and to be an emulsifier in who you are as men. Can I address you as men? Don't let your illness tell you your identity. Your illness is not your identity. And your chemistry, what you're taking, is not your character. The word free, the F in free is, you say it's for fusion. Fusion is bringing people together as one with a purpose. And sports is one of the most effective arena where the old and young come and get together in service to each other. You see all the people and younger people coming together in service to each other. That's why I can stand here. An older man by the name of Manny Dookie saw me at 9 years old, got permission from my father, and saw in me what my mother and father didn't see. My mother and father saw a hyperactive child. Manny Dookie saw a decathlon athlete. A coach can see in you what you don't see in yourself. And a young man, when he goes to a coach, he goes to the coach and he says, I want to be that. In other words, he has a vision already. You don't have to birth it. It is in him already. And many coaches are missing that. That's why I like Clayton. He is able to see because he has discernment. He's able to see in someone what they don't see in themselves, but he has tolerance because he is able to go and meet them where they are to take them where they ought to go. And not only that, how the ride is going to be. You see, the coach determines the ride. The coach has to ask himself, are the athletes there for me or am I there for them? If the athlete is there for you, you can use him, accuse him, and wrongfully diffuse him. Then he needs to get a connection and a reconnection because he has a disconnection. But if you are there for him, then you have his best interests. Then you become like the person who trains the horse. Because when a horse is fully trained, the horse recognizes two things about the person who is going to sit on the horse. Number one, the horse recognizes the person who sits under me is in high authority. He has power over me. He's the big Sawati. But the horse also recognizes another thing, that a person who sits on me is teaming up with me to make me successful. Fusion, restored. The next one is the R in free is for restored. That's what you say. Restored means I have been restored to a level of satisfactory behavior. In other words, I understand boundaries and I will not violate the boundary. This day I saw you guys playing football and you did not violate the boundaries. You did not violate the boundary. So I know there is hope in you without the dope, and you can cope and you don't have to go down the slope. The same boundaries. There are physical boundaries in your life. So watch yourself, see what you're taking. There are social boundaries. Watch your relationships. There are mental boundaries that you need to emancipate yourself from. Because when you were growing up, somebody might have violated it. And there are spiritual boundaries. Life is about boundaries. Freedom exists in boundaries. That's why you were able to play so free. Why? There were boundaries you were taught to honor and to operate in excellence, even with your skills. And give them a thrill and cut like Zwill. The next E is to educate. If you want to be elevated, you must be educated. Otherwise, you will be incarcerated. You wouldn't have a blast while it lasts, and you wouldn't live first class. And you can go home as a jack, dot, 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 dot. You do what it means. And last of all, you want to be elevated. That means you want to go to another standard. But success is measured in inches and in seconds, not the big gaps. Manny Dookie used to take the measuring tape and measure how I am increasing every month. 15 feet, 18 feet, 19 feet, 22 feet. 23 feet, 6.5 inches, 23 feet, 11.5. I broke the Trinidad record at 17 years old. 17 years old. Why? I had somebody who invested in me. Life is about investing in people. That's why we celebrate in Christmas. Somebody come to invest in us. Listen, gentlemen, you have the best opportunity to learn how to go and play a better second half. You mess up in the first half. But can I tell you, the game ain't over yet. What did I say? The game is not over yet. I know what Clayton going to tell you. Go and play a better second half. You're about to play a better second half in your life. Game ain't over yet. Game ain't over yet. When I go to prison, started over 17 years. I went through about 8 or 9 commissioners. Can I have a witness here? But that fellow who put me in it, look at him there. Take a look at his face. He's the fellow who set me up. That's a set-up man. You see his dino job face? Look at him. He's a set-up man. Asking me to come and go down Carrera with he to hand out stuff. And just to say something small. I say something small, and now it have been a big ball. That's how I got involved. Because he invited me long time ago. And that's where restorative justice started down at Carrera. I went back and started teaching there. Because I recognized, like what the commissioner was saying, you just don't need skills. What I saw today in you is alertness versus carelessness. Being aware of what's taking place around me, so I can have the right response. Every one of you who on the team was available versus self-centeredness. Making my schedules and practices secondary to the wishes of those I serve. And the other thing I saw you doing was initiative versus idleness. Being aware of what to do and doing it before I'm asked to do it. Initiative. Initiative. As I close, just want to remind you. In prison, I told them, I think like a sniper, I talk like a viper, but I live like a piper. A sniper is very targeted. You must know what you're about. You must know how to position yourself to get the job done. Can I have a witness here? Then you ought to be like a viper. What you say must be powerful. When you kick that ball, it's not power alone, but with skills, with competencies, with character. You are not just influencing your team members. There are people in the stand looking at you. There's a little boy wants to put on in my days they call it a tugs, and want to go and play football, you are influencing the next generation. And everybody this morning was clapping and having joy. You are bringing joy. If you don't bring joy, you're going to go home and crumble like foil and get spoiled. You need to learn forgiveness. Forgiveness detox your team. And you got to work the team to fulfill the dream. Otherwise, it's nothing but a scheme, and you end up lean, and you go home, ... God bless you. God bless you.
Well, I must say life is about knowing where you came from, where you're going, and where you are and where you're going. And today is a day that it will go down in my mind a memorable and a historic day, in that I got the two teams, the only two teams who are playing futsal in Trinidad and Tobago on the same court, doing an exhibition game, and more importantly, doing it inside the prison, behind the prison walls. Right? As again today, the inmates, 42 inmates, will be honored with certificate and special awards for their involvement and participation in the UTT MSP Futsal Development 2017. Looking back at the program, I think we are on track, because the whole idea was to get these guys who feel that they don't have value, who feel that another life doesn't have value, who doesn't have respect, who just have, as they would say, they just the animosity against each other. Every time they look at each other, they wanted to fight. That is something is no more. So they are at a point now, and the tool we use, football, futsal, and with that, we show them that love brought them to this point where they get to understand and that together they could be a lot stronger. They could look out for each other, and the thing about us, I and us them, that is no more. So they're at a point now where you could extend tough love. In a sense, they do something wrong, they could be disciplined and not go down the road that they used to the road that brought them here in the first place. So again, today is really a blessing, and I really hope that this event here today, it should be publicized so the public can know exactly what is taking place. Yes, on the outside every day a body will drop, as they would say in here, but there's something being done, might be small, but being done to eradicate crime in Trinidad and Tobago. And I am saying again, the people we have in control here, these are the ones who have the answer, and they are the ones we have to take them from this level they are now and market them on the outside. They are prepared now to work on the outside.